Come on now. Y'all know who I am. Look up. It's already falling.
Money coming down.
Coming down, coming down.
Money coming down.
Money coming down, money coming down. Money coming down, money coming down. Rain down the money, rain down the money, rain down the money, rain down the money. Money flowing in, money flowing in, money flowing in, money flowing in.
Money coming down, money coming down,
Yeah.
money coming down,
Yeah. Money coming down.
Money coming down.
Money coming down. Coming down. Money coming down. Flowing in, rain it down, overflow again. I got a mansion in Bel Air, penthouse in Manhattan, villa out in Italy, marble floors dancing, Bentley at the front door, Global 8,000 on the runway, fastest since Concord. I can land by Sunday. Mach .95, 8,000 nautical miles, 4 living spaces, whole cabin got style. I got 9 businesses moving with precision. Banks borrow from me, that's a wealthy decision. Millions feel tiny, billions sound better. I walk through the season and upgrade the weather.
Upgrade the weather.
Billions sound better. Money coming down.
Money coming down.
Power in my body, abundance in my name. I speak overflows in the rain, in the rain. Wealth in my spirit, victory in my sound. Look up to the sky, money coming down.
Rain in the rain, victory in the sound.
Look up to the sky,
Money coming
money
down.
coming down.
Down, money coming down. Money coming down, money coming down.
Rain down the money, 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 money flowing in,
Money flowing in.
money,
Money flowing in.
money flowing in,
Money flowing in.
money coming down.
Money coming down.
Christmas in St. Moritz, snow on the chalet, G-Staff for the silence, Aspen for the valets, Zermatt looking holy, Matterhorn glowing, Jackson Hole roaring, private fireside flowing. Which house should we go to? I got choices, own choices. Whole room gets lifted when they hear our voices. One in the sky, one in the snow, one by the water, one where roses grow. I got wealth in motion, I got peace in my chest, I got gold in my spirit, and I still want the best.
Choices on choices, roses grow. Money flowing in, overflow.
The crown of my life is my 2 baby girls, and my grandson shining brighter than the world. That's why I build, that's why I rise, that's why the blessing keeps falling from the sky.
Baby girls, grandson shining.
Blessings falling.
Perfect timing. Money coming down, money coming down, money coming down, money coming down.
Rain on my family, rain on my name, rain on my people, rain on my lane. Money flowing in,
Money flowing in.
money,
Money flowing
let
in.
the whole world can have some. Let the blessing begin.
Let it rain.
Let it rain. Let the blessing begin. I got billions in motion, I got vision in flight, I got rooms full of deals getting signed by the night. I got Billy Keys talking jet fuel dreams, champagne confidence with legacy themes. I got 9 different businesses moving like thunder. When the banks need a blessing, they call my number. I got Bel Air sunlight, Manhattan night, Italy mornings in Alpine white. Power in my body, abundance in my name. I speak overflows and I rain in the rain. Wealth in my spirit, victory in my sound. Look up to the sky, money coming down. Money coming down,
Like rain on the roof,
money flowing in,
like living proof.
money coming down.
The whole world sees.
I was built for abundance, abundance shows me.
Money,
Abundance shows me.
abundance shows me.
Money flowing in, overflowing free.
Money coming down, money coming
Money
down.
coming down, 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 down.
Money coming down, money coming down.
Money coming down, 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 down.
Money coming down, money coming down.
Coming down.
Money coming down.
To strong
Coming down.
may we continue
Flowing in.
Money
cheers
coming
to that. This
down.
evening is out.
Coming down, flowing in. Rain it down. Blessings begin.
Coming down.
Flowing down. Overflow. Again, again. Bel Air. Manhattan.
Italy.
St. Moritz. Bentley.
Global.
8,000. 9 businesses.
Billions.
2 baby girls.
Grandson shining.
Whole world rising.
Money coming down. 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 Money coming down.
Oh, Hey everyone, this is William Rochelle. You can call me Bill. Welcome to UBU Live. That was my abundance manifestation, whatever you want to call it, song. Someone said it was fake. It's fake for you because you don't believe you can get there, but I do. So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor, the privilege. Why are you laughing? Why are you stiff? Can you move? Are you
Yeah,
there?
I do move. I move every so often. I move. I do
Okay,
move.
because you're like, I think you're frozen. Oh, there you are. Now you
No,
can
no,
go.
no, 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 no. I do move. I don't move too often, and people do
Okay.
tell me I look like I'm frozen. I don't know how.
Hello, Yolanda. So, everybody, it's been over a year, and I have never had a one-on-one conversation with any. I have joined his show for a second and like done like a pop-up, like these anyone in the audience want to come up, but we never talked. Like just sat down and talked. So here we are. How are you doing, sir? What's going on in London?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Like it's weird being on this side of an event, right?
Is it?
I think I'm used to. Yeah, I'm used to being the host, and I know what's gonna happen. Whereas when I'm a guest on anyone else's show, I think, oh, what's I don't know where it's gonna go, right? So, but it's fun,
It's because you're a control freak. That's a control issue. You realize that, right?
I think when you do so many shows as I have, you think that we just turn up,
Yeah.
which I guess to a degree we have to, right? Just turn up as me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
see
you do.
how it goes. That's what we can do.
But the first time I was a guest on a show, I totally blew it. And I thought it would be so easy since I like host. But I was like, what are these questions? And like then I was trying to host the hostess show. It was like very weird. Um, but you are safe, you're protected. That abundance song applies to you, my friend. I want all
Amen.
of us to have
Amen.
those
Amen.
things. And
Amen.
and for anyone out there that says it's fake in your mind. In mine, it's very,
Yeah.
very real. So
And that's
Any
my
is a
friend.
founder of Global Media based in London with a background in psychology, University of East London. He founded his first company, a small business e-marketing in 2015 before rebranding it to Global Media, a creative media, advertising, marketing, and PR consulting firm. He is an 8-time Amazon #1 bestselling author, and he has hosted over 200 interviews.
200.
Over
2,000.
200.
We're at 2,000.
You're at two. Well, I said over 200, so I'm not wrong.
You're right. Okay, cool.
Okay. So over 2,000. Get it right. He's like, if I'm gonna be a guest on your show, get my stuff right. So I was listening to you, and you said on one of your shows that you wanted to find the next. I don't think you said star, but like next
Mm,
big thing,
mm.
and help them get to where they needed to be. That was kind of like. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah. That's me.
So,
That's me. That's
so
me.
I want to be that person.
Okay, now look, of course, I hope you are that person, Bill. I really
I
hope you are.
I was sitting in the audience saying, "Choose me, choose me."
And I wish I got to choose, Bill. I don't get to choose, right? I think in life, you have to do many things, right? And
Mhm.
one in a million, maybe it's more than that. But when I work on one in 1,000, one in a million will become the big star. So I want to, of course, I keep doing what I do. Marketing. You want someone to blow up, right? You want someone to go big, really big.
Yeah.
you know. And I said, I'm doing books as well, and I want an author to get to go seriously global, like J.K. Rowling type global, that's a Stephen King type, that's a level, because it only takes one to make a business. If you can serve someone and transform their life on that scale, just think, they'll be rushing to you, right? That's what I think
Absolutely.
anyway. That's what I think. I hope I'm right. It's so far. I'm still working at it. I'm still working
I,
at it.
I took two takeaways from that. The first one is that you want to make sure that you help someone get to the next level.
Mm.
That is who you are. The second thing I heard was that I wasn't that person.
Oh, have you written? Have you written a book?
Huh? Have
Have
I
you,
written a book?
yes.
I'm actually going to be a part of uh an anthology with Nick
Okay. Cool.
about
That's it.
men, mental health, and money.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited about that because if you know my story, I've been here and I've been here, and then I've been here, and then right now I'm here.
Mm.
And there's a definite correlation between how we show up when finances are aligned versus when everything is tumbling. And I think that's because most men are conditioned, well, from my generation, are conditioned to be self-sufficient. You know what word I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Um, and to be the breadwinner and to always, be able to bring home the bacon. And when you can't do that, you kind of lose, especially I don't want to, well, any capacity, you start to lose your sense of self-worth. And
Yeah.
self-worth should not be based upon the amount of money you have. Self-worth is something that's inside of you
Mm.
and it emits outside. And so what I would tell people, because I've gone through it during the economic downturn and now, um, you need to make sure while you're in that high that you have everything else in your world aligned properly.
Yeah.
Your family, your relationships, your significant other, whatever else is important. Because both times when it's happened, I've been sitting here with the dog. It's like just like, and it's because I was grinding to get up, and then when it dropped, then I was grinding to get back up, and I'm like, I don't have time to bring anybody else into this. I'm trying to get myself back up to where I need to be. And so there is no right time, but you can have it all, right?
You
You
can.
just need to you
Okay.
have to make the time for it.
Yes. Yes. And I think that you're right. Make sure those relationships are strong. For any day, because you never know when the rainy day will come, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. So
And I would also say, Bill, I think my luck is that, as one of my friends tells me all the time, I was old before my time. Right. So when I was young, when I was 16, my friends were partying. Yes, I partied, but I also need to go home and do my homework. I was always the one to say I have to go home and do something. I've got work to do. And literally from there, from those moments, I built a life that has got me this far. That's the only best. That's the best way I can put it, right? Yeah. I
yeah,
think you have to make choices in life, right? And sometimes you can make dumb choices. We all have, So I'm lucky. Many of my choices have paid off. And here we are. Here we are. God knows how many years later, right? 35 years later. It's like, damn.
so where are you? Were you born in London?
No. Yes. Sorry. I was born in London. I was born in a place called Woolwich. It's a
Okay.
part of London. It's East London. This is. I've been there a couple. I was there a few weeks ago when Mr. Nodi came to London. So Woolwich is where I was born. But I say almost as soon as I was born, I got shipped off to Nigeria with my sister. She's a year older than me. So I was
What does shipped off mean?
sent off. So I literally packed off. Off you go. Go and live with your grandparents.
Okay. All right. Got it. Got it.
So,
Okay.
so I grew up in Nigeria till I was 13. And then I was rescued by the same person who shipped us off. So our dad came to rescue us, basically. And
All right,
brought it
so
back to
wait, slow down, slow down. So I'm just I'm trying to keep up now. So you got shipped off as a child in Nigeria, and then you said rescued by the same person. So who shipped you off?
our father shipped us off.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it sounds like our mother did a runner very soon after we were born. And then so he was left with two kids, and he said, "Right, I'm gonna, go and live with you, with her, with your mother's parents, basically." And so my
Okay.
granddad, because he had the money and the resources to look after kids, apparently. So that's where we went. And then, say years later, now over the years, he requested his kids back, and granddad was like, "Go away." Over my dead body. They're not going back to England. Never. Well, the one day, they had a gunfight. They had no, it's not a gunfight. My dad came literally brandishing a gun. I'm like, damn, this is Nigeria for you, right?
Right.
Came
Well, I
brandishing a
don't
gun.
know.
It is. I'm telling you, in Nigeria, like bad people have guns. So when dad came with his, with his gun, granddad's army, police, they all showed up. So now it's a strange world when you live amongst the rich and wealthy, right? Our granddad was a Secretary of State for Health. And it was a big time doctor, global doctor, big time, right? So he became health secretary. So, much like in the US, you don't know the security these people have until you see it. And
Right.
when you see it, like, wow, really?
So
Some
so
people come out of
so,
nowhere.
so you grew up. First of all, I want everyone to listen to what Annie just said. Um, your grandfather, you said, was wealthy.
Yes.
All right. So in America, that's not the story that people tell. And people seem to forget that Africa is one of the wealthiest nations on earth, and that it's been used and taken advantage of to access diamonds and minerals and all of the natural resources. I think Africa has all of them. How do you describe Nigeria? And then how many other countries on the continent have you visited?
Right. Oh, that's okay. Let me try and think clearly. All right. So Nigeria, it's a nice place, right? It's green. You have the riches of the world there. Everything you need is there. So one of my biggest experiences was my uncle Vasco. I talk about this when I do, public speaking about inspiration and transformation. So Uncle Vasco, he had all the Mercedes, from the Jeep to the two-seater, all of them. There was in between as well, now the E200s and so on and so forth. He had all of those, right? And they were all in gold, the same gold color, all of them. So that was Uncle Vasco. Now, what did Uncle Vasco do for a living? I have absolutely no idea.
Do you think it was something nefarious?
No, not a clue. He was married to my aunt. So but again, so this is the second part of what I was about Nigeria. So I've got 9 uncle and aunts. 7 of them are doctors. We have an architect and a lawyer. So
So where does this I'm going to go there. So where does this idea that actually I'm going to shy away from that.
no, let's go there. Let's get it out of the way, Bill. Let's get it out of the
Okay.
way, right?
Where does the idea come that Africans need help, and that without being rescued by colonization, that the continent would be behind? That
Okay.
as a people, and I'm going to say
Mm,
we,
mm,
because we all are ancestors from there, despite, and the reason why we've been dispersed was not because we wanted to be. Um, where does that come from, and how do you reconcile that? You look at your family, right?
yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
said they're all doctors, they're lawyers, they're this or that. I feel the
Mm,
same about my family, right? So
mm,
they're CEOs, they're doctors, they're partners in law firms, but that's not the narrative that people want to give us.
mm.
And those are two different communities. So let's just stick with Africa on its own.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no, it's fair enough. Look, I left Nigeria, say in '85, right?
Hmm.
I went back. Maybe I went in my 20s. So let's say I went back 10 years later. Do you know what freaked me out? Everything I left was exactly the same. That's the problem, Bill. The roads
So
were
no
exactly
progress.
at all. The roads that were there, that were on tarmac, the roads that were holes, the holes were still in the exact same places. The people were still in the exact same places. Almost like they were stuck in time. That's a weirdism, right?
Okay.
Those who progress, those who have it all. Those who don't have it all end up being. It's not the underclass. It's worse than the underclass because those who struggle really struggle, right? They really struggle. Again, until when I was at school, one of our head servants, Albert, his name was right now. He lived on our compound. So the rich ones have big compounds,
On our
many
compound.
houses, right? All these big things, right? But obviously you need people to make those to make a compound work, right? Like, you need servants, I mean, we'll talk about slavery, but we've got more slaves than anyone else because that's how the rich live, right? Anyway, so one of Albert's son, his name was we were in school together when I was literally what 10, maybe before that, right? In primary school together. Bill, did you know this? He's literally he was going on 16, going on 17. I'm still in primary school because every year you have to do an exam. You have to do your exams across the subjects. You don't pass, you don't go up. And he could not pass the exams because he had learning difficulties. So he was literally stuck in primary school forever. These is those little things that people don't see. That's what holds people back, right? The continent is it's a wonderful place. Now, so let me talk about the other place I've been. I've been to Ghana. Now, I went to Ghana recently, last year, go on William Plange's No Human is Useless conference to go speak there. I took my son with me, by the way. Now, Ghana is it can look amazing, on the front, everything is that's so damn good looking. Like there's lights at night. Like it's not, it doesn't just mean lights. I mean everything's lit up at night, right? It comes alive at night. There's lights. There's tarmac roads. There's police who talk to you, wave you by. In Nigeria, the police stop you and rob you. They do. They want bribery. And they tell you straight. How am I going to feed my kids? You're like, why is that my problem? Don't say it too loud. They might arrest you, and then you really are in trouble, right?
Right.
Again, when I was in Nigeria last time, I caught a taxi to the next village. Yeah. No, it wasn't me in Nigeria. And I was talking to a friend of mine online who lives in the next village where I grew up, which is just literally is down one long road, a few miles to the next village. And he was gonna. I said to him, please go to where I grew up and just make a video. Just use your phone, record something. Let me see what you see. And he was like, right. The police stopped me. They took the petrol money off me. And how am I meant to get there and get back? It's a question you have to ask.
Right.
Again, that's one of the crimes of Africa that people don't really see. In Ghana, it's so different. In Ghana, the police are nice. They know who you are, and they talk to you, and they don't want your money. They just they're quite happy to just do what police do, make sure there's no criminals driving past them, and people have the license and so on and so forth. Ghana
So
has marvel.
Hun, let me slow it down for a second. So in Ghana versus Nigeria, is Ghana more so? What I'm seeing in my head is that Nigeria has an extreme wealth disparity. You're either
Yes,
super wealthy and you live in a compound, or you're dirt poor and you're not getting the right education,
yes,
you're not getting the support, and the ones that are the workers are really working at very low wages to support the ones who have.
yes.
So in
All of that. There's health. There's health in there. You have to throw. The U.S. health problem applies in Africa, which is they have to pay for healthcare. The poor can't pay
okay,
for. The poor can't pay for
and
health.
and so let's dissect that too. So many of us, because we're stupid, think that Africa is one country. so so stop it. Don't. I just learned that like 5 years ago. So leave me alone. Um, so when you say healthcare is like America in Africa, do you mean in all the countries in Africa or in certain areas? Like South Africa versus
Yeah,
Nigeria.
no, I think pretty much you have to pay for healthcare in most of Africa. I can't say all. So I was watching something yesterday last night, and for a second I thought, "Ooh, healthcare is free in South Africa, right?" Because it
Right.
sounded like it was because they were complaining about foreigners and coming from other countries to use the services.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they have free healthcare. You know, but for the rest of for the rest of Africa, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for school. You have to pay for healthcare. You have to pay for everything. There is no there's no social care in the way that we know it. There's community care. People will let you starve. Your neighbors will let you starve, but they're not going to make you rich. And even if we use Ghana as an example, as I was saying about Ghana, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know, I know, even though there were mansions on the roadside, they're lovely buildings, and if you go, houses, if you go into them, I was like, wow, you've all got marble floors, you've got marble walls, marble ceilings. See, but if you look behind that building, you see the shack that no one's telling you is there, right? You know, maybe this is a problem in all third world countries.
I think it's a
Yeah.
problem. I was about to say that's a problem in a lot of vacation destinations
Yes,
because I've gone to
double.
like Cancun and thought, oh my
Yes.
God, this is a beautiful place. And then I've gone outside of the um, the vacation area
Yep.
and recognize that these people are living and there's a house with no wall. Like
Yep.
you can
Yep.
literally see into the house and
It's a
people are
shack.
living there.
It's a
Yeah, yeah,
shack.
yeah.
You're lucky, on a good day.
And so it's very strange when you travel outside of the tourism part
Mm, mm.
and you get to see that, yeah, that's beautiful facade, but when you go behind it, this is how the people are really living.
Yes, yes, for sure. I mean, I'm glad you said holiday places. And I say I tend to go on holiday to Dominican Republic in the Caribbean, and
Hmm.
it's exactly like that. It might
Like
be,
Jamaica.
yeah, the same. It might be a step up from Africa in that there's more solid houses, but there's still places that the poor live, and you can tell that's where the poor live, right? It's what
Right.
it is. And
Read Jackie's comment. She's talking to you. I'm sorry. Any. Did you say a moment?
I'm always doing other things as I'm talking, right?
I know.
Stop
Um,
laughing at me. So many of us had, and I had whitewash history, and it's so sad, but this. Yeah.
So while you think about that, I'm going to ask you this question. So you're growing up in this compound where your grandparents can like go like that, and every single law enforcement agency or military agency is going to surround that compound. How did you feel about the people that did not have that as a child growing up? Because and just be honest, because
Mm.
you're growing up as a have, right?
Yeah.
Did you even see the have-nots, or were they just invisible to you?
No. We look, we lived. I think when you're a kid, you have an innocence that makes you want a normal life, right? A
Hmm.
normal life is by day, and then maybe the privilege, the privilege, like the family life in the evening, call it that, right? So a big part of of our lives growing up was the orphanage. That's why I explained the fact that healthcare in Nigeria costs money. So here's what happened. If you happen to be ill and you had to have treatment, Granddad owned the hospitals. He was, to say, he was the head doctor in place, right? He had several hospitals. And I said, attached to our, not attached, on our compound was an orphanage with the hospital. They said that the hospital is literally 200 meters up the road. So
So
that's what
when you
that's.
say compound, I'm thinking your house. What do you
No,
mean by compound?
compound is God. No, it's what you lot call farms in the US. I think acres.
Oh, okay.
There's a wall that demarcates what's yours, right? And
Okay.
it's a huge. It's like going into a new town, right? Once you go through the gates, security gates, then suddenly you're in this. There's trees, there's houses. Uncle lived there. Next uncle lived there. Granddad's house. There's the servant's house behind that. There's nurses' quarters to the right. I'm saying it was a huge thing, and hospital was right there, right?
How big was your grandfather's house?
When
Normal
you're a kid,
size?
no, when you're a kid, you think it's a mansion. When you're a kid now, the memory tells you it's a huge mansion. When I went back as an adult, I was like, damn, this wasn't even that big. Right? It wasn't even that. Maybe because when you're a kid, you have smaller legs, so it takes longer
Yeah.
to walk
Yeah.
places, right?
Yeah.
There was a big football field type thing at the front. At the front of it. That's you could drive. They drove around that, and the houses were lined up. Some of them around that, and there's other places. There's a pond and all sorts. Yeah, but when I went back, I realized this bit of land at the front, this grass thing at the front. It wasn't that big. It wasn't as big as I thought. The house wasn't as big as I thought. Yes, we had our own rooms. My sister and I had our own rooms. Our uncles and aunties had another room. We had our own bathrooms. Granddad had his part. Grandma had her part. So you can imagine a house almost in 4 quarters. There's dining room, living room in the middle, and then there's bedrooms and quarters of the main part of the house. We had it good. We can't complain, right? Generally, we had it good. So how big was it? Is it? Yeah, okay. I'll say this, Bill.
It's a normal house. Now
Yeah,
that you look at it.
but it's context, Bill. It's context, right?
Right.
I say this, which I probably never said before. When we came back to England, so we came back to actually our dad came to get us eventually. Granddad said, "Okay, take them, fine, off you go," right? And so we arrived at the airport. One, it was fucking cold. It was cold. It was frozen. It was November. As African kids, we never knew cold like it. Like, there was white stuff falling off out of the air, and this man didn't think to get them coats. He didn't think to get his kids coats. Like, you're mad. What's that? Right?
How old were you again?
13. My sister was
Okay.
14. And then he led us to this car, and we were like, "Is that our car? Damn, that's terrible." There's a place I'm going with this, Bill. And so I'm used to the Mercedes. I'm used to being driven around by
A driver.
drivers who do stuff, right? And then we got to the house, so parked up, and then so we got out the car, and it's like, there's the house. We looked at it, my sister and I. We're like, oh, so that was yours, that was ours. That gives you an idea of what of scale, right? It just we never seen anything so small in our lives. Of course, in English houses, you have to go in before the TARDIS reveals itself, right?
Right.
Big rooms. From outside, we just thought, what is this tiny box thing? Because we're just not used to any of that. We're used to.
You said this one's yours and that one's ours.
My dad never forgave us for those words.
That's so funny.
Until the day the man died, he probably still hasn't forgiven me now for saying those words. So literally, the Nigerian houses, they're big. They're big. They're a fair size. Compared to what people might think, right?
That was that one was funny because you know why it's funny? Because it came out of innocence. It came out of what you grew up with, and everything is relative. Everything is relative. So if you've always grown up with, regardless of how you view your grandfather's house today, but if you've always grown up in a chauffeur-driven Mercedes, and everybody in the family had their own little homes, and then you had private nurses that lived on the compound. That's luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine doing that anyplace else. I mean, that's luxury. So you get to London after you find out y'all all gonna live in the same house, and you come to accept that.
Gradually.
What was the culture shock coming from Nigeria and going into London? Were you immediately excited about living in London, or were you like, I hate it here, I want to go back?
It's a tough question, Bill. I tell you why it's a tough question. Because now in Nigeria, I guess we always knew we were British, right? This is why when someone says, "Isn't you Nigeria?" I'm like, maybe not, right? And I always knew I was British, right? And to Africans on the whole.
Hold on, let's slow down just a second. So you always knew that you were British.
Yes.
Did you always know that you were Nigerian and African?
Yeah. Maybe we didn't accept we didn't accept we were Nigerian. We're British in Nigeria. That's what we're sorry. Because I said Africans think of the Western world, the UK, the US, wherever, Europe, right?
Hang on.
When we think about the West, when I think about being British, you look up in the sky and you think Britain's up there in heaven.
Who taught you that?
It's just the way we are. It's just the way Africans are, right?
It's very interesting, and no one get mad at me, please. But it's interesting how Africa is so rich in everything, and people literally take from you your style, dance, minerals. They sit out in the sun to tan their bodies. Africa is the only continent on Earth that is attached to the Earth. Did you guys know that? Every other continent is floating above water. Africa is the only continent that has roots
Really?
that are attached to Earth.
I didn't know that, but I can believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, half the issue for Africans, which I've mentioned without, let me be explicit, right?
Uh-oh.
What is it that kills Africans? Right. Healthcare, number one. Number two, poor education. Which is it's another part of the answer, but I'll come back to that in a second, Bill. Right? Poor infrastructure. The roads are terrible. Actually, where in Nigeria especially, the roads are terrible. Right?
Where is Nigeria positioned? It's not on the coast, right?
It is. Lagos, the old capital, was it's on the coast. It is.
Okay.
The people who live on river towns, so they float on rivers and they go between the shacks.
Do lions, tigers, and bears just walk into your house like they show them on TV? This is my ignorance.
No, Bill. No, there's no lions and tigers. No. There's goats. There's snakes. There's centipedes. There's little insects that are colorful that kill you.
They will come. They will come and kill you.
Yeah, little insects. Yes.
But what about?
It's like Australia, where you have the deadliest insects in the world. Africa has more than a fair share. Snakes are it. No, there's snakes that will come and kill you. When I see a snake, Bill, first thing I do is grab a machete and cut his head off. Whatever you say, I don't care who you are. I'm not. When I see a snake, I'm not gonna stop and think. Literally, yeah. If the snake dies and it's not at peace, it's just an instinctive reaction. Right. It's fine, because you can step on anything. You can, when you step on anything, it hurts. It really hurts. I've stepped on. There's things crawling outside of trees, and you think, oh, that looks. But you can see they got prickly things. And they really, if you step on one of those, if you touch one, then you're in pain for a long time. There's no tigers, there's no lions, there's goats. Which people own, so you can't just kill it and eat it. No, someone's goat.
It's someone's goat. No, because the only thing they show on television. This is where I get all this education from. The Real Housewives of Atlanta. They always want to go to Africa for a retreat, and they're sitting in their hotel room, and a giraffe walks by, and then they're having lunch, and a lion jumps on the table. And I was like, oh wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Growing up, how you described your grandfather's house, we only saw like huts when I was growing up. Huts, dirt roads, mud, little kids making food out of mud, and little black kids that had flies flying all over their faces, and it was like $5 a day. Right now, America needs to do those commercials. It can help you feed a child. Yeah. And it wasn't until I started traveling that I recognized that half of the propaganda that we're seeing is not real. Now you're saying the education is poor and the healthcare is poor, so that part needs to be improved.
Yeah, there's something Paulette says in the comments, which is so true. So literally, Nigerians have a reputation for being cheats, thieves, and scammers. Right? Everyone, Bill, everyone is on the take. Everyone. That's the real problem in most African countries, especially Nigeria, right? Corruption is rife. Let me use an example. Right, let's say you run a petrol station.
Petrol is gasoline, everybody.
Petrol station. I don't know what Americans have different words for these things, right? So you run a petrol station, right? So you need to pay the police to be able to get fuel into your petrol station and to be able to sell your fuel, right? So you need to bribe someone to get the fuel to your petrol station, right? They need to bribe someone else behind there, bigger than them, the state, this head of this local government police, basically, head of local government, to allow the lower ones to let you have the fuel. And then they need to bribe someone on the federal level for them to even buy the fuel in the first place, to be able to start that journey to have it delivered to you. So it's just everyone is on the take. Everyone, not just some, everyone. And this is a problem. They don't seem to, it annoys me because they don't realize that if they're all on the take, they can never clean up the system.
Right.
It's not, it's in the US and UK in the Western world, and I would say, okay, the government are cheating the people. In Africa, everyone's cheating everyone. So it's like, damn, don't you realize it's a loser's game? Even the guy pumping the gas for you is on the take. He's robbing you in front of you. Even though whether you know it or not. He's pocketing money. He's doing other things in besides.
So when you came to London, so in my head, because of who your grandfather was, you may have saw it, but you weren't feeling it because your grandfather was powerful. All right.
I loved London for many reasons. We wanted to tell you, we always had the dream to come back, my sister and I, because staying in Nigeria was not the answer to our lives, right? For like I said to you, it's like a time warp.
Yeah.
Those who are stuck, and you risk being stuck. It's not like here. Again, you might argue with me, Bill, because of your situation. There's no clear career path, right?
Right.
Let me say, one of the weirdisms is I mentioned the education system earlier, right? You learn maths and English. Of course, it is a couple of other subjects if you're lucky. But maths and English is what you do, right? And the weird thing is that when we got back to England, we realized we spoke better English and wrote better English than the British people themselves. So school was not a problem. We were ahead in school, which is weird. And that still baffles me. How can someone who lives somewhere else, speaks a different language completely, writes better English than British people? But I think in our minds we're British from beginning. We were always British. We knew we were going to go back to Britain sometime. If not when we went as teenagers, we would have gone as adults. We would have escaped Africa eventually. So now coming back here, yes, of course, it's an adaptation thing. You have to adapt. You have to adapt to everything. Everything was different. The TV is different. The culture is different. Then one day you hear something, you think, what's that? Then suddenly you realize that they're trying to be rude. I was like, when we're at school, someone's trying to be racist, and I'm like, that kid's got a problem. No, it's not me being black is not the problem. It's them. I just never, because when you grow up amongst black people, your people, you don't see racism at all. You never heard it. It's the weirdest thing ever. So when we came back here and suddenly you see some abuse, you hear abuse, you're like, what's wrong with you? It just pisses them off even more. Then they really want to go crazy, but
right.
So we adapted quick enough because we had no other choice. This was our life going forward. We had the tools to start, which was the language, thank goodness. And I suppose we knew this was home. This is home, and home is what it is. Yes, it had small houses, but everything else was pretty pretty good. Potentially, there was peace. There's you didn't see corruption in your face. The police left you alone at best of times. I've never have attracted their attention too many times. My sister, she's a solicitor, so we made good choices.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what saved us, even though life turned terrible.
Why did life turn? Well, does life turn terrible, or does life just life, and it has its ups and it has its downs?
You're probably right. I tell you what, that again, you're making me see the link. You see, it goes back to that comment we made. Is that house yours and that one ours? That one, Bill. That one, right?
I just love that one.
I think it left my father traumatized. All the thing that you started off saying men have a certain role as providers, blah blah blah, all that part, right?
Yeah.
So I think he took that as personally as you can take it. It wasn't the success that we didn't see him as a success that he thought he was.
But that house in the UK
Yeah,
may have cost the same amount as the entire compound in Nigeria.
probably more. Probably
Right,
more.
right. It's all relative.
Yeah, but unless your people see you as successful, you don't feel successful. It's relative, but it is. It's
So I'm going to stop you there for a second. I'm going to tell everyone out there, success is relative,
yes,
and you can never look outside of yourself for success.
I agree. I
So
agree.
Annie has sold 8 books, 2,000 podcasts, and I've sold none. I've had 100 podcasts. And so I'm not going to go and say I'm not a success because he's done 10 times more than me, nor is
I'm
he
not.
going to say that
No,
to back to me. We
no.
we are our worst, your dad,
Yeah.
are our worst internal gauges,
Mm,
and we need to determine for ourselves what success really means.
yes.
And
Yes.
in that moment, you know, we can't go back to what we say, and we're
Mm.
kids. But I would say this to your dad if he's listening: you fought to get your kids back. You didn't let them go. You brought them into a home, although it was smaller, and those little bratty ass kids didn't know
The ungrateful pair. That was.
didn't know how to appreciate it. You coming down to Nigeria with a gun, being tackled by the military for these little numbnuts.
Yeah.
You
No,
know
no,
that's success. That's love.
yeah.
That is what it is. A quick question. So you came from the UK, then you went to Nigeria.
Mm.
So you always knew you were British. Do Nigerians that have never lived in Britain think that they're British?
No, of course not.
Okay. Because it was colonized at one point by Britain, right?
Right. No. It wasn't that. No,
Oh, okay. You were
we
talking about where you were born, not
yeah,
this is a
yeah.
Nigerian
Yeah,
mindset. Okay,
no, we knew.
okay.
Today I had a conversation with Leslie. I know when she's here the other day. And my web lady, right? And she's put British Nigerian on my website, my new personal website. I'm like, I'm British. Anyway, whatever. I get over it, right? It's you know, I guess no, we're always British. That's the thing. Look, let's come back to your point about success, Bill.
Yeah.
I think success really is personal. It's relative, right? I think you have to design the life you want. To see I think you took yourself down. You know,
Me?
yeah, yes, you, Bill, yes, you. I've listened to you enough, right? You see, one day you were in one of my rooms, and I think you came on stage and we were talking about. I don't know what that is. It wasn't authenticity, but no. But eventually, I think it came around to me realizing that you've done big jobs. You've only had big jobs, big jobs.
Yeah, I've had success
Managing
yeah,
right hundreds of people. I
yeah,
never have. Right.
yeah.
And that's what I call success. That's what I call real success. That's the corporate ladder. Is that's success.
So I would say that I have a fan a, a unusual um successful career
Mm.
with many huge hockey puck trajectories.
Yep.
But the two times where I've been unemployed was when the entire economy collapsed. So
Mm.
it was during the 2010, and then it was right after COVID. So I own my own company. It died after COVID, and then after that, I had just like one gig, and I've been living for 4 years off of whatever I've made. That's a long fucking time without any income.
Mm.
And the reason why I say my titles are not really what I consider success is because I never learned the lesson. See, the first time I was in Dallas by myself in this 4,500 square foot house, waterfalls and swimming pools in the back, and it was just me and a dog. And it was lonely. And I said, you know what? This isn't going to happen again. And then I did what I do. I built my own empire. And then COVID happened. And what am I sitting here in? A house and a dog. And my daughters are mad. They're just like, why are you in Florida by yourself? Because I don't have the money to move. You know, it success to me incorporates everything. And if you
Mm.
listen to Abundance Coming Down, you
Mm.
will hear that I say my two baby girls and my grandson. You know, that's abundance. Being
Mm.
able to have overflow to give to you, that's abundance. You know, so hell yeah, my like I forget half the things I've done.
Mm.
I've done so much, like I forget. But I'm a beast in the boardroom, uncomparable. I know how to get things done. I create results, and I've always been the blueprint, not the person that came in to an organization and said, "Okay, where's the manual?"
Mm.
No, I'm the person that comes in and says, "All right, we're going to take this company from zero to $250 million. We have 5 years to do it. What's our financial runway to get to the first 10 million?" And I've done it. But when you're all by yourself, those dollars kept me going for 4 years, right? But my expenses are, my mortgage, my car, when you add things up, and I just never thought I would be unemployed this long. So I don't talk myself down. I just don't like to brag.
Mm.
And there's a balance, right? You
Mm.
know, because if I sit here and talk about everything that I've done, then it becomes me, 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 me. And I
Mm.
struggle with that in job interviews too.
Of course, of course. It's not about me, 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 me. Bill, look, you have. I don't want to host your show. I said I wasn't going to do this at the beginning, right?
He's
You
gonna host the
have.
show. Watch him host. Watch him.
So that you have an ability. Clearly, you have knowledge. I'm saying, have you thought of using that to help a small business to grow to that level? Is it possible, number one, to grow from my business? I don't talk abstract at the best of times, right? I'm saying, is it possible to grow from where I am today to a 10 million pound business? I only want to be £1 million a year revenue business, by the way.
Yeah, it's all of it's possible.
Right? Could you do it?
Yeah.
What
You
are you
know,
waiting?
well, I'm number one, I have no liquid cash, right?
Mm.
But I've been doing this for 1 year. And in a year, I get over 400,000 views to my channel a month.
Mm. Okay, I mean, you got numbers. You got numbers. I've said to you before
Yeah,
how. Uh,
400,000 views to my channel a month, unique views. Then
wow,
I have on my article side on LinkedIn only 3 million views of my articles.
wow.
So for YouTube, I need 4,000 hours,
Yeah.
and I can start monetizing it. So
Right.
views, a lot of people are watching the shorts, but I need another 1,000 hours before I can start monetizing
Okay.
and looking for sponsors and things like that. And I didn't even recognize this. I'm doing this in my
Yeah.
hobby, in my spare time, to keep my mind going.
Mm.
Um, and people are loving it. So one of the things that I'm really good at is understanding what communities need. So what I know that they don't want is someone selling them something.
But then how are you gonna monetize if you don't sell them anything, Bill?
Very, very easily. Very, very, very easily.
You just
You
said it's my sponsors
you
and so on.
you bring people on
Yeah.
that have unique personalities, that think differently than you do. You talk about their lives, you talk about their experiences, and people come to hear that. So you think about Trevor Noah, you think about Oprah Winfrey, you think about those guys. They're not selling you anything. But
They are.
but Tom Ford
Yeah.
will pay me to wear their glasses every day. At some point when I pick up, you know, or pour my tea, and I'm showing you my coffee mate,
Mm.
I'm not doing showing you the coffee mate because I love coffee mate. I'm showing it because they're sponsoring
They're
me.
paying you, right?
They're
Okay.
paying me to show it.
You know,
So
see,
it
no,
it
but
all it all depends on how you want to go. And people are asking me right now, just off the rip, will you create an intro for me? Can you create a commercial for me? So these are things that people are asking me to do currently,
mm,
like just started asking, right? Based on the show. So the show is a vessel to feature two things. What am I selling? I am making sure that leadership out there can hear my voice and say, hey, I want to hire that guy. I also have a paid partnership with ADP, which means
right.
that everybody that joins ADP through me, I get a residual as long as they're with ADP. That's passive income that just starts coming in. I just forget to tell people.
Bill, no, there is, again, there's always what I call cyclical. Every time I find myself in having cyclical conversations, I say something at the beginning, it applies later on, right? Where we started off,
Uh-oh.
abundance is money, yes, but deep down, it's not money at all. It's a personal sense of
Worth.
peace,
Peace. Yeah.
right? Inner peace, and a joy that money can't buy, literally.
I can
It's,
tell you this. I'm going to be real with you guys. Okay.
go for it.
So money does not buy happiness,
Mm.
but lack of money buys a whole lot of chaos.
Yes, no, I agree. I agree.
Chaos. So I've had it and I've not had it. And the
Mm,
only thing I'm going to say that's been good about not having it is that it allows me to see other people with more empathy,
mm.
and it changes what I do with my money when I do have it.
Bill, here's a straight question that I have to ask you.
Uh-oh.
Why do
Wait,
you?
whose show is this?
I said I wasn't going to host your show. I'm asking you a question, because
Okay, go ahead.
I've been dying to ask. I don't want to put it. I don't want to put it in the comments, right?
Go ahead.
Now, you have a gift. You have many gifts, clearly. Now, building numbers on YouTube, building the numbers, and monetizing. You know your lives, your events, your online presence, your shows, right? I'm saying,
Hmm.
you know, why do you help people to do that? I'm saying that will transform their lives and give you the joy that money can't buy, literally. So
So the problem with me doing that is twofold. Number one, I would probably just offer to do it, which is really bad, right? Because I'm so used to having things
Mm.
that when people say, "How do you do that?" I would probably just give it to them, right? And I'm going to tell you a story. So this is like kind of a fucked up story. So there was someone that was new to this world, to the
Mm.
podcasting world,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so I created this like hell of a great intro, and I just gifted it, and then I brought them on my podcast, and I was like, I'm going to help you get numbers, and that person did something that I felt was not nice.
Mm.
And, they said, you're being passive aggressive. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm never passive aggressive. I'm direct. I don't like what you just did.
Mm.
And then uh, they scrapped my intro. They were like, okay, first they loved it. They were like, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced cheese. And I'm just like, I'm not putting myself out there like that anymore because people don't appreciate that. And then they use you. And then when they get enough, or they don't get what they want, or you set boundaries, they make
Mm.
you the bad guy. So I have very strong antennas up when it comes to helping people because I will help everybody. My cousin told me the other day, you're the only person I know that my home is unstable right now, but my cousin called me and said, I just got laid off and they're not renewing my lease. And I said, well, I have 2 bedrooms. You can come live here.
Mm.
And my cousin, the one I was talking about earlier, he said, well, is he going to pay you? I'm like, he doesn't have a job. I don't know what he's going to do. He said, well, why didn't you figure that out? Because you're going through it. And I
Mm.
said, because that's not the first thing I think about. The first thing I think about is there's a person in need and I have a bedroom. And then once they're here, if they can help, they can help. But regardless of whether or not I help any, that bedroom is still going to be vacant.
Mm.
And hopefully, if they get unemployment, if they get something, maybe they can pay a light bill. I don't know. But I give everything. He said, my cousin was like, you'll give your last 50 cents. And I'm like, I sure would. If someone needed it, I
Mm.
would. But through that, I've also had a lot of people that have taken advantage of that. And so when
Yeah.
I see those red flags, when I see okay, you only talk to me when we're going live and doing this other stuff, and I'm building up your brand just because I don't recognize
Mm.
the power that you and I have. Any, when
Mm.
we bring people in, we're giving them a platform,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and people, if you're not careful, will jump on your platform to promote themselves.
They do. They do. They do. They
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
You know?
and that's one thing that bugs me the most. See, I'm looking at the comments and I'm loving it, right? Everyone here is responding to everything we're talking about. Have you ever looked at someone's comments and someone's out there talking about my show is at 4?
Yeah, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like,
Some
you're like,
some
why
of
are
them
you
just link completely. They're like, why
why
this
are
brother?
you doing this? Like, this
Then
is not the place
they're
for
called
that.
spammers. They're spammers. They're everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
luckily, so LinkedIn, it's not too bad. Every so often you get one or two, and you have to tell them stop doing it,
Yeah,
and
I had to
you
tell a
just
friend
have
of
to
mine,
delete them.
stop adding, I want to be careful, so I don't like calling people out. But I had to tell a friend of mine, stop putting your new song in every single comment on every one
Mm,
of my shows. This is not the place for that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's not the place to say, oh, I just wrote a song about this. Listen to it. Because you're
Mm,
taking people off of my page to go
mm,
listen to yours. Now, 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 I'm also not greedy. So if any just wrote a song and he wanted me to tell everybody about it, I would say, guys,
Yeah,
check it out. I'm gonna play Any's new song as my outro.
yeah,
That's how you do things decently and in order.
yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. Look, as Yolanda said, you are in a good place to help people, Bill. You are, you got your daughters, you got your dog, you got grandson, you got your house
They're
still.
in LA though. That's what we're that internally that's what we're fighting about.
Right.
Which is a good which is a good fight, Any, because a lot of kids don't want their parents around. And they're mad that I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah,
far away from the country and sorry, so I'm across the country.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my commitment to them, because I was doing so well, was once a month I was flying to LA.
Mm. Yeah.
So,
I, I
yeah,
don't know. I think you are.
good looking.
Yeah, apart from that, Bill. Apart from that, you're having a hard time. Saying I do watch your shows. Of course, you're not the ones the wind downs. I think I watch a few of them, right? And you're having
Oh,
an extremely hard time, right? And I think something just tells me that you have more to give to get. And I can't for the life of me work out why you want a job. You can create your own. You can make your own business. You can create your own job. You can create your own service.
other people have said that too, and maybe I'll consider it, but and this is just a but, right? And this is a true but. It's not an excuse because
Mm.
I understand the
Are you
difference.
sure? Are you sure, Bill? Think twice.
Absolutely,
You sure
absolutely.
it's not an excuse?
I'm positive.
Okay. Yeah.
So from 2012 to 2021, you know, I was just living the good life.
Mm.
Owning my own business, thinking I'm about to step away from the business and come in twice a week just to sign checks.
Yeah.
In 2020, that entire year of indecision and having to let go of people that had worked for me for years
Mm.
and taking $70,000 out of my bank account to cover payroll,
Yeah. Oof.
and then recognizing at the end of the day that my bank account, my business bank account was at zero,
Mm.
and just walking in after hanging on for so long and just saying, there's nothing else we can do. I tried to sell the business, everything.
Mm.
And that took a toll out of me,
Yeah.
um, where a steady income with the same responsibility, P&L responsibility,
Mm.
growth, all of that, with someone else worrying about what's in the bank is, is,
Mm.
is, is preferable to me in this moment of my life while I create. Where did you go, Annie?
I've tell, I try. The lighting has been so shocking. I got annoyed, so I was gonna turn my light off.
He
Is there
went to
any?
the toilet. He went to the
No,
toilet,
no,
y'all.
no, no, no. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
He asked me, and then
No, I'm here. I'm
I
here.
spill my guts, and he's just like, okay, this is bullshit.
No, no, no. I wasn't going to. I turned the light switch one behind me. Right, Bill. I heard what you said. Right.
And it's not an excuse. It's really PTSD. It's really kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
do I want to do that again?
Do you?
And and
Do you,
and
Bill? Do
I don't know
you?
what
Can you?
I can, but do I? That's the question.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I do it, what would it be? So those are all the things I have to figure out. But when you're
Mm,
living in chaos, and anyone who's done it, I'm figuring out healthcare, figuring out my home, figuring out my car. I'm making hours with the phone calls every day, trying to figure out like how to stop this from happening, how to stop this from
mm,
happening.
mm.
To sit down and say, okay, here's a good business plan. I don't have, that's not happening right now. But if I got hired for a job and I had income coming in, as creative as I am, I would think about a new business idea driving to work because I wouldn't be worried about what's in my bank account.
Yeah, I can sympathize. I can understand.
You think it's an excuse? I don't care. You say
No, no,
say
no,
the
no, no,
truth.
no, 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 no.
You be you, my friend.
Really don't. It's not that. Look, I think as much as we say money makes money makes your world a better place. Lack of money makes your world, God knows, a miserable
Yes,
place. It's a hard place. So I don't judge people, Bill. Really not. I'm saying, I hope you find they want to help others, on a scale
I
that
do.
we're talking about, right? I'm saying, in which case,
Yeah,
and get paid for it. Genuinely, I'm saying, but like you said, it's about sitting there and working at that plan.
but here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, guys. I'm also very respectful of our network, and
Mm.
maybe I shouldn't be, but I am. And so I look at Americo da Costa. He's doing that.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. So I don't want to be competing with someone who is doing a great job trying to find their space. I'm just not that guy.
You're not competing. Abundance is not for all of us. You're not competing with anyone. You're just doing your thing. You're using Bill's gifts. Look, Jay, I'm laughing at Jay's comment. Jay, when we started off, I said to Bill, I don't want to run your show. I don't want to host your show for you. So I'm just like, let me see where we get to, right?
And he waits for Tatum seeing an Empire Strikes Back, and he likes gut spilling. What does that mean?
He says, I've been waiting to turn the conversation to this line of conversation for a long time, is what he's saying. It's not true,
Oh,
Jay.
really?
No, it's not true. It's not true. I'm having fun with Bill. And
Ask
it's my chance to
anything.
ask me a question. So I've asked my question. I'm easy now. So come back to me if you want.
No.
Let's-
I want to. Sure, Shaw. Go ahead.
Come back to talking about any, on your show. Look, I think my greatest happiness. I've done the jobs. I've done the building companies. So I said, built a charity from literally 3 of us to 35 people. It took 15 years of my life. But in the end, I had to leave because, I think helping a smaller guy. So that's what really makes me excited. That's what gives me joy. There's a part you said which I think is so true, which no one thinks about. Is when you have to pay staff. For years, I asked him, Bill. I said to him, right, when it's just me, I can live with the late payments. I can live with no clients this month. It's fine. It's not fine, but it's what it is. I'll survive, right? But when I have one staff, which I've said, I think I had a team of 3 at one time, right? When you have one staff, it's a problem because now you have to make sure they're paid on time in full because they have to pay their bills, right? So you're like, damn, right? That's hard enough, And then when you have 2 staff, now you have a problem. I think in the first job I got, it was a small business, run from in 2000, right? And I know, my boss had to have backers who he would turn to when cash flow was slow. Yolanda.
Wait. I don't understand what Yolanda's saying. So can you? Because I think she's coming for me.
She says, yeah. She says, "No, stop saying but. Don't say but." I agree. Don't say but.
Okay.
Because but sounds like what it does. Leave it there. And then there's many different
Okay.
ways to use but. That's what she's saying,
And
right?
then, all right. Got you. See, I'm learning, guys.
Who's LinkedIn user? Can you see who that LinkedIn user is?
I think that's
right.
Angela Y, I believe.
Excellent. Your show, book, music, we're different to others because they're not you. It's not competing. It really isn't. There's enough space for all of us. There's enough space for all of us. Really.
I agree with that, but I always want to come up with my own unique vision that's just mine. And other people can join that vision. I'm fine with it, but I um I think I am powerful enough
You
to
are,
create my own lane.
really seriously. But that's what we're all doing, Bill. Jay with the storytelling. I'm saying Yolanda with her book and her Pink Lemonade work. I'm saying we're all doing our thing. Yes, it looks like there's some overlap, but that's not what you're doing is different to what everyone else is doing, Bill. I don't know
Why?
anyone that's teaching people how to build their YouTube community really and get to numbers that anywhere near close to what you've got to.
But my numbers are because of me.
Yes. I
So
get what you mean. As a marketer, I get what you mean.
so
It's
let me
good.
let me tell you. Hold on, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
So I'm every place, right?
Yeah.
And these clips will go every place,
Mm.
and I get to see what people click on. And if I'm not in the clip, it gets severely less likes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and
I
I and
agree.
I I I asked my daughter. I said, "Why do you think that is?" And she said, "Because you have a I don't give a fuck type of attitude." She said a lot of people on podcasts seem like they're searching for the right word, and you're just like, "This is bullshit. I don't like it." And she's like,
Mm.
and
Mm.
people are gravitating towards that.
Yeah.
And two things occurred in that moment. I recognized, number one, that she actually watches my videos because
Mm.
she never comments or anything. So obviously she's watching, right?
There's
So
many of
okay,
them who do that. There's many people who
yay.
they just
But
there.
your family doesn't. No, normally your family's like, okay, that's just my dad and he's embarrassing.
Mm. Mm.
Um, but it was also that she connected that me being open, me saying, what the fuck, go say what you got to say, you know, is what people want to hear. They
Mm.
don't want that polished version. They don't want the filtered version.
Mm.
And that is interesting. So, with me telling someone else how to build their content, that's difficult because I'm just being me. I haven't tackled a specific subject. I
Yeah.
haven't I haven't tackled a specific subject. We have no idea what we're going to talk about when people come
Mm.
on.
Yeah.
It's just we're just up here having a real conversation, two grown ass men from
Yeah.
different continents talking about, you know, our experiences during childhood, and then you telling me that I'm sitting on my ass be doing more.
I did say that. I just said, the world needs Bill, and the world needs your gifts. The world needs your genius, right? Again, I appreciate I'm not saying I appreciate. I said I get what you're saying, right? I do events all day with different people and I know as we're doing what we're doing, half the reason many of our friends are here is because it's us, right? Because it's
Yeah.
us. I get that. Now, does that mean my friends can't build a similar following? No, of course not. And they can because they have to design their persona and come across as their real. That the word authenticity comes in again. And I want my friends to find themselves and then give that to the world.
Yeah.
That's what their friends are going to resonate with. They're going to build their own community of people with or without our friends. Are you with me?
Right. 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 Right.
As a marketer, yeah, I have to believe that they can. Many don't, because they just haven't. I don't think because they haven't got a few of the things that we need. The first thing that I think the people need is kindness. And, to be authentic, I think you need real kindness, genuine kindness. Paulette was here
You
earlier.
you do recognize that I've been told I have both.
Right. No, but
Because people are like, you're so nice, and other people are like, but he just called you a dick because you were. What you did was messed up. I blocked
yeah,
you, and
yeah.
it's not happening again. No, sir.
See,
No.
that's not fake. That's just the real build, and that's a real life build. That's no. Say I'm nice all the time. I don't tend to take offense. I take
Don't
offense,
fuck with
but
me. No,
you know,
just don't.
there are people that you see that you never know me and them are at war. You will never know because I
Oh,
just don't. I don't
I don't
say
go
so.
to war with people, my friend. I
I
cut them
agree.
out of my life.
I
They are
agree.
blocked. You cannot come. You don't see me.
I fully
And
agree. I agree.
and I wish you well because
Mm,
that's
mm,
all I
mm.
can do. But
Yeah.
if I notice a pattern,
Mm.
and if I notice that you're silently trying to do something that is counterintuitive to what I'm trying to do, I think that is not it is against who I am to
Mm.
continue to allow you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I believe that as a business person, you're not going to hire somebody and have them sit there and talk about the business negatively all day long. You got to go
Yeah.
because you're bringing down the entire team
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm trying to build up.
Mm. 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 When I won Bad Apple, like I said, I sacked my whole team because they couldn't get along with each other. I didn't know whose fault it was, so I was like, "You're all gone. Bye."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that to a whole team of people because
Mm.
it okay. So there was everyone loved this particular job, and there were these two girls, and they were always late, not showing up, and I talked to them and I said, you know, what's going on? Um, and one of them said, we just hate it here, and we talk about, you know, we live together, we're roommates, and even before we have breakfast, we're talking about how we just don't want to go here and how we just hate it here. And I said, well, then you guys need to go. I
Mm.
said, It's never going to work for you because you've talked 2 hours before you even stepped into the door to say how you don't want to come to this job. Meanwhile, I have 100 other people out there
Mm.
that are working their asses off. We are building something because I just don't do jobs.
Mm.
I build something, and everyone needs to be dialed in to build. So if I'm in the middle of a building phase and you come at me from the left, fuck that. And I'm going to continue being me, and you can go be you
Mm.
without hate. I don't hate you, but on the other side of the room,
Yeah. 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 No, and I hate too much
do it,
energy.
do it over there, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to see you. I don't need to have you in my orbit.
Mm.
You know, we don't need to be on stage together.
Yeah, no,
Nothing, none of
I don't
that.
want to have to think about you at all. I'm saying, so that's it. I live in this world of peace. It's finding that peace, I think. Mr. Soulman Live is here as well. Thank you
I
for that.
saw that shit.
Yeah.
So where are you, Aaron? Aren't we going to do the Zoom party thing together?
Someone called me out the other day. I say called me out. They didn't call me out. They were just rude. They messaged me and said, "I don't like you talking about other people in your shows." I'm like, "I'm sorry. Say that again." Well, you also know you would call people out. I'm like, "Yeah, it's my show. Don't like it, don't come."
Yeah.
I said, I said, if you come, don't comment. Please don't comment. I don't want to see your comment. Then I won't message you. I won't message. I won't mention you ever. It's all good. How dare you try
And
to talk about my show?
what's beautiful about that, and what people don't get, is I've seen people comment, and you know, I blocked you.
Yeah.
You know this, um, and you're commenting, and I am not acknowledging your comment. When are you going to stop coming? Because I don't need. You're not helping my audience. My audience is going to come. You
Yeah,
know. But
they're helping
anyway,
us, bro. They're helping us in their eyes. They're helping us. Like we need them is what they say to us, right?
no, we don't.
We don't. We're gonna do the show anyway, right? We're gonna do the show regardless.
All right, so this is going down the wrong
No,
rabbit
no,
hole.
no, 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 no.
Because we are both blessed to
We
have a
are.
platform, and we
We are.
love everybody here,
Mm,
and we're joking
mm.
about a couple
Seriously.
of a couple of scenarios that may or may not have occurred. These could be based on true, could be based on a true story.
Mm,
Yeah, like with Aaron, right? I tell this story all the time, and I'm glad he did it. But I did a an autism show in January, and I said to Aaron, um, my my sister-in-law's cousin is a parent of a child with autism, and she wants me to do a show.
mm,
Do you want to take it because that's more your wheelhouse? And he said, you can do it.
mm.
And he wasn't giving me permission to do it. Well, he was. He said, I don't have a problem with you doing it. But he also said, you can do it. You'll be able to handle it. You'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Mm.
And so I've never had a show about neurodiversity or anything like that. And it changed the fact that he made suggested I go ahead and take it changed everything. And Gregory Liverpool and I are like so cool.
Mm.
And um, it opened up my world
Yeah.
because I was no longer just a watcher. I was a
Mm.
participant in a conversation,
Yeah.
and it was great. But contrary to what you said, my friend, I do believe that there should be some type of professional courtesy when you know that someone has a lane.
Mm.
And so that's what I did with Aaron because mental health, neurodivergence, that's his lane. And
Yeah.
he is my friend.
Mm.
So I'm going to say, hey, I'm not going to start a Zoom party, tomorrow. Oh, I'm
No.
hosting game shows. That's
It's not
Omar.
your thing. It's not our thing. You have to do what is you, what aligns with you. Mr. Curtis, I see you. How you doing? Look,
It's been
Bill,
2 hours and he's ready to go.
an hour and a half. Is it two? No, it's an hour and a half, right? Okay, Bill,
Yeah.
Bill, help me grow my YouTube channel to monetization.
Okay.
And I know what that means, right? I'm saying it's a bit. I know the bits I don't want to do. I know the bits I don't do. This chasing sponsors, chasing,
Well,
and
the first part is I'm not monetizing my YouTube channel yet. I still
right.
have another 1,000 hours worth of viewing before I can.
That will come surely. I mean, so that's a guaranteed, right? It's from with the numbers you have. With a thousand, 100,000 views, you get views. You
Yeah, but
get
that's
views.
across YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I'm incorporating all social platforms.
Mm.
That's just not on YouTube. I think I have 1,000 more to go on YouTube to get to 4,000 hours. What are you doing?
What's the formula? I'm saying you have a formula, Bill. I want you to share the formula with. I want to learn the formula. I want to benefit from the formula.
All right, so this is what I do, guys. This is exactly how I did mine. I switch it up. So Sunday is a show where it's UBU live, and I just bring people in, and we talk about life.
Is that linked? Is that LinkedIn or is that on YouTube?
Everything is all over the place. So I'm right now we're streaming to Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
YouTube, and
LinkedIn.
Substack,
Yeah.
and then your YouTube and your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Then what I did was I created a show called The Serenity and Bill Moment, and that's only on Substack. And what we would do is we would just go on, and there's nobody on Substack. No one follows me on Substack. You can do it with me. And we just sit there and we just talk. And then people would jump in and say, can we join the conversation? And Serenity's really funny. And she's a no holds bar type of person. And so they would ask questions and she would say, that's just stupid. Or she would say, I agree. And so her and I would have our little combats, or Kinga and I did it too. And that would break that show up. We do it for an hour, and that would break that show up into 10 shorts. and they would take those shorts and automatically push them to YouTube.
Mm.
So now I'm getting the shorts. So the shorts are different than the produced show. And the Substack, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but if you look on Instagram or TikTok, the shorts were called, conversations on Bill's couch, right? And so I would be sitting on my couch, totally different environment, with my phone, talking to Kinga about the world. And people just gravitated towards that. And so across all channels, you're getting, what are you doing? What are you doing? You ain't even listening to me.
I'm listening to. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at. What am I doing otherwise?
You're looking at your phone.
No. My phone's there. My phone's over there. My phone's over there.
Okay.
I'm
All
not
right.
looking. So
All
that's
right.
that's a lighting for you.
That's a
Yeah.
what?
All right. There you go.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I just change it up. And so no matter what platform I am on, I'm always Bill. But on Substack, I'm a little bit more aggressive, meaning I will tell you how I feel about what's going on in this world right now.
Mm.
No holds barred. I wouldn't do that here because it's on YouTube, it's on LinkedIn, it's on Instagram. And then I would take those clips and I would reshare those clips to Instagram and TikTok because they are okay with that, right? But I wouldn't share those clips on LinkedIn, and I would allow them to go to YouTube because YouTube is more global.
Mm.
And I would just do things like, hey, this segment is just me and my dog Spot. And it would be me and my dog Bruno just walking around town. And I would just pick up my phone and go live on Substack, record us walking around. We're at Young Circle. We're at the beach. What are you thinking about, Spot? And then I would do like a message for today. And finally, what's really taking off, which is shocking to me, is Williams Wind Down. That is probably one of the most significant game changers that I started doing. And the purpose of Williams Wind Down is that everybody expects me to be like, what the hell are you doing? But by wind down, I am clearing my head and clearing my energy for rest.
Yeah.
And so
it's not William wind up. It's not wind up William and wind up everyone else.
Right. It's really smooth. My voice never goes above like this. And the music is about finding your life choices and love and respect and spirituality. And as we drift off to sleep tonight, we need to remember who we are. Let go of what did not serve us. Embrace what did. And the reason why I did that is because everything in my life was going so chaotic that I was spinning out of control after every phone call. And so I recognize that I'm just going to bed a shitty mess. And I'm not sleeping and my anxiety is over. And there's nothing that I can do between 10 o'clock at night and 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no one's going to ask you for it.
So why not rest?
Mm.
You're going to find out what you're going to find out in the morning. So the wind down is intentional to help me rest. And I share that with everyone out there because I'm not the only one going through it. Especially in America. I'm not going to I don't know what the rest of the world is going through, but I know here we have the largest foreclosure rates since 2008. We have the largest car repossession rate since 2008. We have the most credit card debt. So right now, things just here, it's not just me, are kind of spinning in the opposite direction. And this is why you need to find value within yourself, everyone. Because a friend of mine said to me one day, my student got a job in a week. I don't understand why you can't get a job. 3 years later, we find out that the largest application tracking system has been suppressing resumes for people over 50. So, with all my experience, with everything I bring to the table, my resume is not even getting out there. And for me, any when I get a note back saying we found somebody who's more qualified, I'm like, are you joking? So that's the purpose of the wind down is to wind down from the rejection letters, wind down from that phone call that threw me off,
Yeah.
wind down from and let it go.
Mm.
Let it
Yeah.
go. And that combination, I don't think I can tell someone else how to replicate it because the UBU live
Mm.
is me genuinely trying to get to know somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
The wind down was created because I needed to relieve my own stress.
Mm.
The couch talk was needed because I just needed to get out of being so serious and just
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is we're all multifaceted.
Mm.
And so a lot of people, especially on LinkedIn Lives, they try to present this pristine image that is really not obtainable because that's not really who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Where,
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts me. It kills me.
yeah,
You know.
where I'm saying to you, I've done it all and I've lost it all. And I'm not going to give you a motivational quote to tell you how to deal with your tragedy in this moment because I don't know what you grew up with
Mm.
and what your triggers are to address why you're handling the situation that you're doing. But what I can tell you is this is what I'm doing right now, and if you want to join me in it, come along for the ride.
Yeah, look, I can understand where you're coming from. Look, Mark said Marsha, and I have to mention Marsha, of course. This year in the comments, she
My
is
girl.
a true legend. She's as they come. There's only one Marsha, and from when I met the woman years ago, I termed her the LinkedIn angel for a reason. And she lived to that, she lived up to that every single day. When I saw her helping you, you know, I was truly, I was reassured that Bill will be okay. At least I truly believe that because what she does with genius, right? See,
Yeah.
Bill, there's one thing here that, of course, people love to wind down, they wind down as well. It's at a time when I'm normally like, what did I? Who's on? Oh no, Bill's on. Yeah, then it starts moving times. Bill, don't do that. Don't move times. Don't move in times. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'm like, I just want to know what time it is. So I could look here when I. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I don't expect everyone to come to that because I can tell you this that um, it's a late night show.
Mm.
And the late night show is to help you wind down. So if you're already so wound down that you want to go to sleep, then you've already accomplished it.
Oh, damn. Okay, no, I don't think okay. I've got another show to do. I suddenly realized. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So
No,
we're gonna
Bill, the thing you haven't mentioned is how to use your business acumen to help people.
how I can use my business acumen to help people
Yeah.
in
You
their
can't be.
current business.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yes.
I had a 1 year contract. I walked in, I identified where the holes were, where the ship was leaking. I
Mm,
patched those holes up and then created an entirely new system. I brought in automation that allowed them to keep going while preserving the integrity of their business.
mm,
I totally moved their warehouse from Florida to um, Georgia because it was more centralized
mm,
and they can get better shipping rates. I reviewed their shipping rates, got that down, reviewed their lease, got them out of it, so that we can go to the different lease. I got them set up with a benefit and payroll system and a workforce management system that allowed them to reduce their cost by $80,000. I helped them to understand the cost of goods sold because they were underperforming, and created a demand forecasting so they didn't have to know what to buy. The system would tell them, this is your top selling item. You'll be sold out at this point. So you should start replenishment on this area, and your caps come from Detroit. So you need to get that done 4 weeks before you even start the manufacturing. That was in a year. That was in a year. I cut the staff. And when I said got them out of their lease, that means I saved them $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 for a year, right? I saved them $80,000. That's $200,000 for the year. I did their cost of goods. That stopped the bleeding because they were selling under what they were paying for. And then I helped them understand how to utilize Amazon successfully. And that's a lot in a year. I have an eye to come in and look at a company and say, this is where it's not working. All right.
You see, but that's what most people need, Bill. That's what it's that business thing that I think can really move lives.
I think so too, but I think the issue that I think the issue is getting me in front of the right people. So anyway, this has been a wonderful show. I think Innie is a fantastic guest. He said he had someplace to go. You guys, I am going to leave with the song called "My Arrival." It's another manifestation song. Yeah,
about keep manifesting, my friends. Keep manifesting. Keep manifesting. All right. Good things will come. What you manifest, your reality.
Final thoughts to the people. I think this was I enjoyed the conversation, my friend.
Yeah, look, thank you for the opportunity. Number one, two, it's great to watch your shows. You're doing great things, and I feel lucky to be. We've got a community of people on here who love our shows. Long with that, continue, right?
Right on. Love you guys. Hey, everyone, peace out.
Everyone has been here. Thank you so much.
And this outro is for all of you. When you arrive, you need to arrive in peace, grace, stand up for yourself. And here we go. Aaron, tell me what you think about this.
Everyone.
Doubt fell off, I let it slide. Bruno sitting by my side. Beamer clean, that's my ride. House is packed with love and pride. Giving new meaning to this moment in my life. Let go of the strife, reclaim my rights. Direct connection from above. The rain comes down, but it's only love. Boom, 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 ba 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 bam. Jackie, Melanie, Leslie, shine bright today. Had to call their names in the brightest way. So full of love, joy, peace, and light. Nothing cruel in my spirit tonight. I'm not pressed, I'm not moved. I'm in rhythm, I'm in groove. I don't need the noise, I don't need the show. I know when to stay, I know when to go. Your need for attention, that is not what I'm feeling. I need my space, I need my healing. So you stay over there, right where you be. I'm not sharing this stage, but my soul needs peace. This is my breath, this is my room, this is my life, this is my bloom. I'm full of love, I'm full of sound. I found my peace and I'm holding it down. I arrive in style, arrive with grace. I arrive with joy all over my face. I arrive with love, I arrive with pride. I arrive with peace, moving side to side. Let the jam rise, let the bass who I am, glad I came up to the surface, said it like a man. No reason to sit in own self-pity. My vision got wise and my spirit got witted and glow. Running around me, coming by surprise at the look in the mirror and believe my own eyes. I'm not hiding now, I'm not playing small. With love to the room, I can answer the call. I move with style, so I let the rhythm take control. Don't need to fight, don't need to prove. I bless the room and change the mood.
I changed the channel and found my light. Let go of strife.
Reclaim my rights. Uno by my side. Love in my home, peace in my spirit. I'm never alone. I'm walking forward, I'm breathing free. The glow around me looks good on me. Direct from above, that connection is clear. I don't chase the noise when the blessing is near. Let the chant rise, let the bass rise, let the horns hit, let the soul glide, let the strings pull, let the drums snap, let the light fall, right where I'm at. Boom, boom, ba ba bam, boom, ba 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 bam, boom, ba ba bam. Oh, boom, ba ba bam, boom, ba ba bam, boom, ba ba bam. I arrive in style, I arrive with grace, I arrive with joy all over my face. I arrive with love, I arrive with pride, I arrive with peace, moving side to side. Let the chant rise, let the bass ride, let the room glow from the inside. I arrive in style, I arrive in light. Big Billy in the building and the spirit feels right. Boom, 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 ba ba bam. Snap like Tamar. Boom, ba ba bam. Still shining like a star. Boom, ba ba bam. Protect my peace. Boom, ba ba bam. With a grown man smile. Choosing grace, choosing grace. I'm not mad, I'm choosing grace. Boom, boom, ba ba bam. Still got joy, still got love.